I am 1000% responsible for where I am. All of my shortcomings, all of my failures, they're all on me. Regardless of the external situations that happen, we are solely responsible for where we are. It's very easy to defer that and deflect that and say, oh, it's because this happened to me, or oh, poor me, like this happened. But in reality, if you were to operate your life like that forever, you would never achieve anything. You would never get where you want to go. And you would just, it's very easy to deflect on other people, other situations, and external situations, and like never take responsibility. And maybe that mentally makes you happier or defers it so that you don't have to bear the responsibility of that. But does that get you any closer to where you want to be? I would argue the answer is a fat no and a constant no. I feel like it's kind of a lost art that the people who are doing it and taking responsibility could be basically have a wide open field to do whatever they want now because they understand that principle. And I learned this from Stephen Covey's book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he talks about circle of control and circle of influence, which is basically in your life, right? There's a few circles. And at the innermost circle is your circle of control. It's the things that you have 100% control over, which are things like how you act every day, how you react to situations, which is a big one, and just overall the things that you can completely control, which basically boils down to yourself. You can only fully control yourself. You can't control other people. You can't control your company fully, even though you wish you could. You can't control what other people do. Like, it's just not possible, right? But the more you focus on your circle of control, the bigger it gets. And so that was the most profound thing in the entire book for me. And it's changed my life, but it boils down to the more responsibility you take, the more control you have. So I'll give you an example. If I say I'm not making enough money, and that's because my employer isn't paying me enough, by framing it that way, I'm now saying that I have no control over my income. My employer has 100% control over my income, which is true from a salary perspective. Your employer dictates your salary, but there's two ways that you have control over that. Become more valuable to the company, get promoted, get a raise, do more, bring in more business, you earn more, okay? So those are the things in your control that can boost your salary. The other way is you can actually make money on the side. You can do something. You can build a product, build a business, sell a service. You can do something else to produce more income for yourself. But if you never take responsibility for what you're making, you'll never be able to even think about that. And that's the crazy part is if you don't take responsibility, you can't even think about it in the right way to do it. If I just sit there and say it's my employer's fault or my employer is what dictates what I get paid, you will never even think, oh, I can sell my own service. Oh, I can build a better product. Oh, I can actually just become a more valuable employee. Like, these are all things that are in your control that will influence, which brings us to the second circle, that will influence our other outcomes. So yes, I can't fully dictate what my employer pays me, but I can take actions every single day over the next year to make myself more valuable, to hopefully get that raise, get that promotion, start that business. All of those are things that won't happen unless you take responsibility for what you want to do. And again, I struggle with this to this day. I'm by no means anywhere near perfect or take 100% responsibility, but I try to. And I think it's something that we've totally lost in this social media age where people just flip on their camera and complain about something or defer responsibility to something else. And I understand that it's human to do that. We don't want to accept responsibility because it's difficult. It's a very difficult emotion to take on, the fact that you're not where you are because of what you're doing, basically. And it applies to more than just money. It applies to your relationships. It applies to your health. A lot of people say, oh, like, I don't have the time to get fit. I don't have the time. I don't have the money to eat healthy. And it's like, okay, that's true. Eating healthy can be expensive. Organic foods are expensive. Yeah, it's difficult to go to the gym when you have family and 9 to 5, other responsibilities in your life. But realistically, that's probably a lack of time management, and it's probably a lack of budget management, because you can always figure out ways to do the things that are most important to you. I would argue that health is the most important thing to anybody. Relationships are probably second and money is third. That's my own personal hierarchy of it, but even the richest people, if you don't have your health, like, what does it matter? And if you do have your health and you have a lot of money, if you don't have people, what does it matter? All of these are the downstream effects of your ability to take responsibility. As I've gotten older, I've realized how much of a lack of responsibility there is when I talk to peers, people that just genuinely complain a lot. Like, those are people you can probably classify as responsibility defers. And I'm not trying to throw shade at people who don't take responsibility. I'm just trying to highlight the importance of taking responsibility, because it completely changed my life and it changed how I operate my day. And I can say wholeheartedly that my life is an entire percentile better than it was before I started taking responsibility for every single thing in my life. So for all of you that are watching this, anyone who's watching this, if it's one person, that's enough for me. But I would just say, look at your life and see if there's areas you could take more responsibility, because the people who take responsibility, they get rewarded. They get rewarded with better outcomes. They get rewarded with a better mental state. You just feel more in control of everything that happens to you when you are willing to take responsibility for where you are. It allows you to tune out other people. It allows you to live more of your life and how you want to live it, because you're in control of it. And it allows you to just feel more empowered to do the things you want to do. If you want to create a better outcome, take responsibility and go create that outcome for yourself. So that's it for today's video. Bit of a rant. I felt like it was necessary. A lot of people I don't think are even aware of this type of thinking. I highly recommend you go read Steve Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you want to, there is a blog post out just on the circle of influence and the circle of control, which is the whole principle behind this video. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all in the next video.